If you grew up in the 70s, 80s, or 90s, there's a good chance you owned one of these. A small ring with a stone that magically changed colors depending on your mood. Blue meant calm, green meant normal, black meant stressed. And millions of people looked down at their finger and thought, yep, that checks out. For a brief moment in history, we genuinely believed a tiny rock could read human emotions. But here's the weird part: mood rings weren't some ancient mystical object. They were invented in the 1970s, and they exploded into one of the biggest fads in America almost overnight. So the real question isn't what mood rings were, it's why the entire country suddenly became obsessed with them. Mood rings appeared in 1975 when two New York inventors decided to put liquid crystals into a piece of jewelry. Now that sounds scientific, and technically it was. Liquid crystals change color based on temperature. The warmer the crystal gets, the color shifts. So the ring didn't actually read your emotions, it read the temperature of your finger. But the marketing was brilliant. Advertisements claimed the rings could reveal your emotional state: calm, blue; excited, purple; anxious, black. Which sounds very impressive until you remember emotions don't actually have color settings like a mood light in a teenager's bedroom. But people loved them. Within months, mood rings were selling millions of dollars worth of jewelry. Celebrities wore them. Stores couldn't keep them in stock. And suddenly, everyone was checking their finger to see how they felt. But the real reason people loved them wasn't science. It was something much more human. The 70s were a strange cultural moment. People were becoming fascinated with things like meditation, self-reflection, astrology, and personal wellness. Mood rings slid perfectly into that world. They felt scientific, but also a little mystical, which is honestly a powerful combination. Because if your ring turned blue, you might think, wow, I must be really calm today. And if it turned black, well, today has been stressful. The ring wasn't reading your emotions, it was doing something much simpler. It was giving people a tiny moment to think about how they felt, which ironically might have actually made people more aware of their mood. But there was one small problem. The rings were kind of terrible. The liquid crystals inside mood rings were extremely sensitive. Too much heat, they stopped working. Water, ruined. Cold weather, good luck getting a reading. And eventually, people realized something. The ring wasn't really telling you how you felt, it was telling you how warm your hands were. Once the novelty wore off, the craze faded just as quickly as it appeared. Within a few years, mood rings quietly disappeared from most stores, but the idea behind them didn't disappear at all. In fact, we may have just reinvented them. Today, we wear devices that track our heart rate, our sleep, our stress levels, our breathing, our activity. And they send us notifications telling us exactly how we feel. Which, when you think about it, is basically the same idea as a mood ring, except now it costs $400 and needs to be charged every night. So mood rings might not have actually read your emotions, but they did predict something surprisingly accurate. Humans really like wearable gadgets that tell us how we feel, even if we probably already knew.